Welcome to the first ever Strategy Shorts epilogue episode. We're going to be taking these short breaks from time to time to accommodate things like Christmas and New Year, the times of year when no guest in their right mind would agree to record an episode with me. I'm so excited that Strategy Shorts has got off the ground with some great guests from the world of brand strategy and marketing. We've welcomed three top-tier thinkers in Julian Cole. He's the founder of the Strategy Finishing School. We've welcomed Daniel Murray, the founder of the Marketing Millennials. And in our most recent episode, we spoke to Callum Mcdonnell, the founder of 7X Content. Each of our guests are leaders in their respective field. And in this episode, we're revisiting some of the tools, insights, and frameworks that they recently brought to share with you, the Strategy Shorts audience. These are practical things that you can take away and try, or insights that you can think about over the Christmas season and beyond. Julian, for example, is helping thousands of strategists around the world through the Strategy Finishing School. He's worked in the biggest brands on the planet, and he knows how to take an advert all the way to the Super Bowl, whereas Daniel Murray has aced the organic marketing game. Since 2019, the Marketing Millennials has attracted nearly 1 million followers to its LinkedIn page. And finally, Callum Mcdonnell has had a string of viral hits using clever tactics and techniques to promote some of the world's biggest podcasts. Honestly, the next 7 minutes are going to be absolutely packed with value so that you can begin to dream big about the year ahead. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, with Strategy Shorts, and with our guests. Happy holidays. Here's to progress. Today on Strategy Shorts, I'm joined by none other than Julian Cole, the founder of the Strategy Finishing School. Julian, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me on. One of the brief templates that everyone uses at top agencies or knows of is the get who to buy creative brief formula. So the get who to buy really solves a big problem for strategists who start writing. The thing that it's solving for is it makes you succinct. You can only write a paragraph. That's the most you can write. So if you've ever written briefs and they've been like 2 pages or 3 pages and you've seen kind of the creatives glaze their eyes over, this is going to solve it. So it's a very simple formula where you've got the 4 key elements that you need in a creative brief, which is the get, and then you write the target consumer, the who, which is the consumer problem, to, which is the desired response or consumer goal, and then the buy, which is the single-minded message. And the most important part about this when we start is that a creative brief and a marketing brief are totally different. A marketing brief's written from the business perspective. When we write a creative brief, it's written 100% from the consumer perspective, and the audience for that is the creatives. The most important part is the consumer problem. So you need to get to a very clear consumer problem. Often that's where it's lacking. That's the number one place I see for most strategists. They're struggling. They'll write it as a business problem. That's not what you're doing. The product is the solution. It's not the problem. So that's really important that you write a problem that's happening in their lives and how the product can solve that. But you need to go back. You need to work out, okay, well, what is this solving for, and work out what's the bigger problem there.
Today on Strategy Shorts, I'm joined by none other than Daniel Murray. He's the founder of the Marketing Millennials. You've probably seen their content on LinkedIn. To date, they've got over 750,000 followers. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. When you go out and set content that is everything for the audience, it makes it easy for the audience to build relationship with you and trust you. The way I think about content in general is I think you got to separate your product and think of content as the product that you're trying to market. And when you think of content as a product, you innovate on it, you market to it. And the main thing is you do everything to make that product great for the audience. The problem with a lot of companies is content is just a support channel to help everything else. And the problem with that is if you consider it a support channel, you use it in bad ways when you need to hit revenue numbers, when you need to send out that email. You use content in the wrong way. But once you build trust with your audience will do a lot for you. They'll jump through hoops for you. But you have to build that foundation of building great content. I think shifting your mindset that content for you is everything for your audience. Stop writing a personal journal. That's not how algorithms work. If you want a personal journal, you can write that, but you're just not going to you might get interest or you might not, but you should write things that are everything for your audience. And knowing your audience deeply comes from consuming a lot of content. Great content comes from consuming great content.
Today on Strategy Shorts, I'm joined by the most excellent Callum Mcdonnell. He is the founder of 7X Content, which are promoting and changing the game in the podcast space for some of the most popular podcasts on the planet. So Callum, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you're up to?
Yeah, so I'm Callum. I run a content agency called 7X Content, and we basically help podcasts get seen and listened to. I've ensured that I've got an amazing piece of content, long form content where I've created lots of depth with people, but I've also then created other touch points on Instagram and LinkedIn where I can grow just as valuable an audience from shorter form repurposed content at minimal extra effort. And I just think, so many people sleep on this. You'll put a lot of effort into one thing like a podcast, and then you'll forget to actually promote it or repurpose it or think about where are the platforms where, again, this piece of content can have extra added impact. And I heard something fun the other day, which was like, imagine you pitched a brand on a TV advert and you said, we're going to spend $200K on a TV advert and you can just run it once. Like, they'd be up in arms, right? The brand that you're pitching to that. They'd be like, what are you on about? Like, what? We're not going to serve this to our target persona multiple times over the festive period on ITV and then maybe run it on YouTube or wherever else they're going to run it, right? And I think people, content creators especially, don't take this kind of approach with their content. Like, you'll spend ages crafting the questions for your podcast or whatever it is, but then actually you don't squeeze all the juice out of the lemon, all the potential out of that piece of content. At the moment in the content that you're creating, what is that hero piece of content that you're making consistently? And if the answer is there isn't anything, then create something that creates a lot of value and deep connection with your audience or your community that you're building. And if the answer is that you actually have something already, I would think about how you can repurpose that effectively. And is there easy opportunities that you're currently not taking advantage of?